All right, today we're going to talk about arc length. And so arc length is saying the distance around just part of a circle. So we know circumference is the distance around the entire circle, but what if I only wanted to know the distance around just a piece of it? Well, we have this formula used with S, apparently A for arc length was taken because of area, equals the radius of that circle. Remember, radius is from the center of your circle to the edge, to any edge, times the angle measure represented by the Greek letter theta. And so the angle measure, now this angle measure has to be in radians. So what we'll see in number 2 is that it's given to us in degrees, so we have to convert it to radians before we can use this formula. So here's how this works. I want to know the distance from this edge of the circle up to here. I want to know that arc length. So the length of this small arc of the circle. Now, how do I do that? S represents arc length equals my radius, which is 30, times my theta in radians, so times pi over 3. Now, what is 30 times pi over 3? Oh, well, we get that S equals 30 pi over 3. Well, can that reduce? Yes, 30 divided by 3 is 10. So our arc length is 10 pi. Now, if it wanted you to actually get an exact value and round that to the nearest decimal place, remember, you can just put that in your calculator, 10 times pi, or 10 times 3.14. So we're saying this is, hey, 31.4 feet. And let's go ahead and just get used to putting in our labels. So number 2, we're going to take something that's in degrees, and we need to convert that first to radians before we can use this example. And we have a radius of 15, but let's go ahead and convert degrees to radians. And so how I do that is by multiplying first by pi over 180. Now, in your calculator, if you said 120 divided by 180, and you hit enter, you would get a decimal. And then if you hit math, enter, enter, you should get 2/3. So this is actually 2 pi over 3. And so really we're saying that this 120 degrees is 2 pi over 3. Now that we have it in radians, we can find our arc length. We can find the distance from this point of our circle to the other edge. And so now we have the arc length equals my radius, which in this case is 15 meters, times the angle measure given to us in radians, which we now found was 2 pi over 3. And 15 times 2 is 30, so we get 30 pi over 3. And so our final answer, again, is 10 pi. And so it's fascinating that similar situation, but again, we need to label this, so this would be meters. If they want you to go to a decimal place, then go ahead and plug that in with using your pi symbol in your calculator. If it doesn't ask to the nearest decimal point, then you can just leave it as 10 pi meters.